Today, we will talk about 10 most haunted places in the world to visit if you dare. Whether you believe in ghosts and the supernatural, those who have visited these scary sites claim to have witnessed paranormal activities, and their tales will give you the chills. After all, there hasn't been a lack of stories about how visits to the derelict old Changi Hospital in Singapore has resulted in paranormal sightings. 1. Bhangar Fort, India, situated between the cities of Jaipur and Alwar. In the lap of the Aravallis, the Bhangar Fort is a popular tourist attraction in the western state of Rajasthan. The serene fort, which is believed to be one of the most haunted places in the world, was built by Raja Madho Singh in the 17th century. Raja Madho Singh was the younger brother of the famous Mughal general Man Singh of Amber. The fort's vicinity consists of the ruins of massive havelis, temples, deserted homes and marketplaces. There are many narratives related to the now abandoned building. Of these, there are two legendary tales that many have heard of, according to Rajasthan Tourism. 2. Eastern State Penitentiary, USA. Touted as the most expensive prison at one time, the gloomy corridors and confinement cells of the penitentiary have seen some of the most notorious criminals like Slick Willie Sutton and Scarface Al Capone since 1829. The world's first penitentiary was conceptualized as a center to rehabilitate its prisoners rather than punish them for their crimes. Given its 142 years of torture, suicides, and disease, many say that the Eastern State Penitentiary on Philadelphia's 22nd Street and Fairmont Avenue is haunted. It has also been featured in shows such as Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures. Moreover, staff members, visitors, and inmates, while the prison was functional till 1971, have reported tales and experiences of paranormal activities. Reports say that when locksmith Gary Johnson was working in cell block 4, he was overcome by a force so fierce he was frozen. 3. Old Changi Hospital, Singapore. Those who've grown up in Singapore would joked about Old Changi Hospital at some point, but there's a reason why it has garnered such a reputation for being one of the most haunted places on the island. The now defunct and abandoned General Hospital, located in Changi, was first built by the British government in 1935. During the Japanese occupation, it was used as a military hospital for wounded Japanese military personnel and some Allied prisoners of war, but was also sort of a prison area managed by the notorious Kempeitai, the Japanese military police. While not proven, it's been said that the location also housed a torture chamber, a speculation born from the fact that there were bloodstains left on the floor of a room that has thick chains hanging on the walls, and what was supposedly the remnants of an old torture device. Said to be haunted by the victims of the Japanese occupation, the spirits of those who died in the hospital, and homeless ghosts, the hospital is truly one of the spookiest spots in the city and remains out of bounds to the public. 4. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. Built among the mountains and surrounded with lush greenery, the Fairmont Banff Spring Hotel might remind an onlooker of the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, US, where Stephen King's The Shining was filmed. The hotel, which is considered to be one of the most haunted places in Canada, has hosted many famous guests, like the members of the British royalty. Just like the Bhangar Fort, many spooky legends surround the four-star hotel, but two are among the most famous ones. The first one being the story behind the missing room 873. It is believed that a family, including the mother, father, and their daughter, was killed here, and the room's entrance has been reconstructed. 5. Poveglia Island, Italy. Also known as the Island of Ghosts, Poveglia Island is one of the places with the most horrific history on this list. Measuring approximately 6.8 hectares, the island is 10 minutes away from St. Mark's Square in Venice, Italy. It has served as a burial ground. In the 1920s, it was home to a mental asylum that was under the administration of a deranged doctor who performed cruel experiments on the patients. To fight the plague that caused numerous deaths since the 1300s, the people of Italy came up with a solution to isolate those showing any symptoms of the Black Death or facing mental or physical issues. Patients were forcefully sent to the island and left to die. According to reports, around 1.6 million ill people were burned here to curb the spread of the disease. That is not all. The remains of the dead bodies were also never cleared. It is assumed that even today, 50% of the land's soil comprises the ashes of those who were burnt there. 6. Castle of Good Hope, South Africa. The castle is not only one of the oldest buildings in Cape Town, South Africa, but is also one of the most haunted places in the world and is reportedly haunted by the ghost of Lady Anne Barnard. She lived there as the first lady of the colony and hosted several notable personalities in the late 18th century. Visitors of the Castle of Good Hope have heard footsteps and voices that are supposed to be coming from a dungeon sans windows and corridors. It's believed that prisoners were chained to the walls of the dungeon, which was then filled with water. Many claim to have spotted a giant black dog who disappears into thin air. If this hasn't creeped you out yet, wait till you hear the bells toll on their own, which is another paranormal activity often talked about by visitors. 7. Driskill Hotel, USA. Spirits exiting elevators, a young girl giggling, a sudden whiff of a burnt cigar at the hotel that has been smoke-free over decades are some of the paranormal activities guests and staff at the Driskill Hotel in Austin have reported. Another spirit that is believed to inhabit the hotel's premises is that of a little girl named Samantha Houston. She died at the age of 4 in the year 1887 while chasing a ball and falling to her death on the grand staircase. Visitors often hear the voice of a young girl laughing and the sound of a ball bouncing. Samantha's father, who was a Texas senator, got a painting made of her, which now hangs on the 5th floor of the haunted hotel. 8. Chateau de Brissac, France. One of the most marvelously built palaces in France is also one of the most haunted places in the world. Chateau de Brissac is reportedly haunted by the ghost of the Green Lady. The chateau, that is now home to the Duke and Duchess of Brissac and their children, has a rather intriguing dark past that dates back to the 10th century when the Count of Anjou selected this location to build a palace. According to a belief, she was murdered in the palace by her husband. Local legends say that Charlotte was the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII and was married to Jacques de Brissac, who was in the service of the king. De Brissac was also the owner of the chateau. Charlotte, however, was unhappy with the marriage and soon got entangled in an affair. 9. House of Death at 14 West 10th Street, USA. It is believed that the spirit of Samuel Langhorne Clemens, famously known as Mark Twain, still resides in New York, particularly at the address 14 West 10th Street. The brownstone haunted house is also known as the House of Death among locals, as they believe that it is inhabited by 22 ghosts who either lived or died in the building. Although Twain resided in the building for only a year, 1900 to 1901, people have mentioned spotting a white-haired man claiming to be Clemens and then disappearing moments later. 10. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. One of the most haunted places in Scotland is the Game of Thrones-like Edinburgh Castle, perched on mounds of volcanic rock. Numerous reports of paranormal activities are traced back to the hundreds of deaths, executions and tortures within the stone walls and dungeons of the imposing structure. Visitors have witnessed incidents where someone has tried to push them off the battlement, leaving behind a dung-like stench. It is believed to be the ghost of the dung prisoner, who had crawled into the dung barrow to escape from the prison. Not knowing where the barrow was emptied, he fell to his death onto the rocks on which the castle rests. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.